Nearly live on YouTube, nearly. Setting up the meeting on YouTube. Good luck, everybody. Give them hell out there. Right. We are now live on internet. So welcome everybody to this. I'm not started yet. I'm just getting things set up. Bear with me. Because not everyone's live yet. I do feel like I'm talking into a big empty space and I'm not sure who's actually listening. There you go. Let's just check. That's going on. You can post the message mark to say you'll be allowed out in a couple of minutes. It's taking a bit longer than I would like. Ah, that's working. Brilliant. Send that over that monitor out my way. Back to Zoom. Nearly there. Okay, if you want to let them in, Mark, flood the auditorium. Hello, good evening. Sorry to keep you waiting there. A little gremlin in Zoom there, but we're all working fine now. So thank you for coming. And welcome to the Rise of Reptilian Flux and Other Stories. Tonight we present you with a newly commissioned play written specially for the Zoom stage. We'll also be presenting 2 science fiction dramas adapted for the online medium. My name is Noel Chidwick, and I am the Editor-in-Chief at Shoreline of Infinity Science Fiction magazine, based here in Edinburgh in Scotland. We published issue 1 in July 2015, so this is our 5th birthday. So you may celebrate. Hooray! I hear a cheer from the audience. Oh, we can't, you're muted, never mind. So since our launch, we have hosted over 50 live science fiction events, featuring readings, music, author talks, poetry, sword fight demonstrations, believe it or not, and also live drama. Oh, hang on. We've just received an email from Zoom. It seems there's some strange activity on Zoom tonight. And we've been warned to stay alert. Something about a strange interconnection. Okay. Yeah, so we are a science fiction magazine with our very own theatre group. We call them the Infinitesimals, and they are appearing here tonight just for you. Their speciality is adapting stories from the magazine and turning them into audio dramas for podcast or radio, So if there are any Radio 4 producers in the audience tonight, please send me an email. That'd be great. But tonight, you'll be watching the premiere of a new self-penned play series written by the Infinitesimal teams who you'll be performing tonight. The highly talented Jonathan Whiteside, Debbie Cannon and Ben Blow. If you were at Buxton Festival last year, some of you may remember Debbie from a highly regarded one-woman show, The Green Knight. Oh, just a quick viewing note. For best viewing results, can I suggest use Speaker View? What's going on there? So, anyway, relax. Forget your COVID-19 worries. Kick off your shoes. Open your snacks. Pour yourself a drink.
Good evening. Good evening. Am I coming through all right? Good evening. Good evening, and thank you for joining us here on this auspicious occasion. I am Dr. Thomas Pettigrew, Head of Anatomical Science at the Royal Egyptological Institute. We are very proud in these troubled times of plague to bring you another exciting event for this year's much reduced scientific calendar. As many of you know, our previous unwrapping ceremony was supposed to commence the first of many such events showcasing finds from the recently discovered tomb of Sobek. Subsequent world catastrophes and hysteria here within the empire prevented us from carrying out further unwrapping, sadly. However, thanks to royal decree from Her Majesty Queen Victoria, and in a celebration of her 183rd birthday, long may she reign, we have been granted permission to continue to showcase these magnificent cadavers from ancient Egypt. The scientific community can learn so much from this recently discovered tomb. The previous mummified corpse, as you'll be aware, was badly damaged before its arrival, and indeed was consumed in a violent fire not long after its exposure to the elements. However, this current corpse, perhaps even more than the last, shows signs of unusual physical characteristics, so tonight should prove to be a most illuminating event. We are also very honored to be joined on this Zoom call by the discoverer of Sobek's tomb, and indeed one of our greatest patrons, Lord Agnew Montgomery Fortescue. Welcome, your lordship.
Hello. Am I coming through all right?
Indeed you are, sir.
It's a wonderfully exciting occasion, Watt. So pleased to be able to join you via this newfangled medium. Steam-induced pictorial calling. Funny name, though. Zom. But it does the job, eh?
Indeed. Am I right in thinking you remain in ancient Egypt quite close to the dig site?
Yeah, quite right, old boy. Been here 18 months and no plague's going to shake me loose, by God. Safest place to be here in the desert, surrounded by the dunes and my numerous armed guards, of course.
Can you tell us a bit more about how you made your discovery, especially in a region many assumed had been excavated to exhaustion?
Excavated to exhaustion? My dear fellow, many of these modern-day Egyptophiles, as I call them, simply don't have the nous to read the sands or the funds necessary to bribe the locals until they turn up the right nugget of information, and then it's just blast and dig until you turn something up.
Yes, that has seen you deliver some exciting relics into the Institute hands. And of course, I believe you supply Her Majesty with some rarities.
Oh, yes, God bless her. Vicky does love her ritual statues. Anything to do with old Anubis or the afterlife, it's right up her street.
I'm sure our audience will be fascinated to hear of any finds Her Majesty has.
I think the last trinket I sent her way was one of those duat scales. You know, the fella weighing your heart against a feather to see if you're found wanting.
What an interesting find.
There are some rumors that Her Majesty has the mummified heart of a certain prince who she's weighing, but you didn't hear that from me.
This is going out live, sir.
Well, we found about 20 cadavers so far. We shipped back 3, and the rest are all here waiting until the supply routes open again.
Indeed. The tomb is quite large.
Oh, yes. It goes down, deep down into the sand and full of interesting hieroglyphics and some architecture. All seems to be from an unknown period. The only real similarities are the mummification process and the depictions of the crocodile god Sobek. That's the god of splashes, don't you know?
Ah, yes. I believe you have an amusing anecdote about a crocodile.
Yes, very, very funny. In one of the chambers, there was a tomb with a pond almost filled with water. And one of our chaps got a bit too close and was bitten in half by a very large crocodile. Had to shoot the bugger. What luck, eh?
Yes, and it was through this chamber you found the first of the mummified remains.
Yeah, bloody great wall of alcoves full of the buggers standing upright. Pretty spooky, not gonna lie.
I'm sure, but we've no room for superstition in the world of science. In fact, my colleague, Dr. Benson, who was supposed to assist this evening with the unwrapping, declined to join us for just such reasons.
Yeah, well, bad form. I mean, what? Because of the power cuts and the earthquakes after the last unwrapping? Coincidence!
Indeed.
Dr. Pettigrew, I must voice my concerns again.
Margaret, how did you get on this call?
Hacking a Zoom call? It's easy, Thomas. Now, you must stop what you are doing.
There is no reason to stop. We're on the brink of an exciting new discovery.
Plague!
Now, madam, doctor, I really must insist.
You don't think there's a connection between the reptilian flux and what you've uncovered here?
Poppycock! The flux has been exaggerated. Her Majesty's Empire simply cannot allow a pandemic in 2020. Well, with all the amazing science we have at our disposal and all the resources and wealth of our glorious nation, it's stuff and nonsense.
You're in the middle of the desert, my lord. You haven't seen what it's like here in the cities. There's green scales appearing on the skin, people slithering about the streets, great green crosses painted on the doors of the infected.
Well, we have seen these, but Her Majesty has it under control, and it has nothing to do with what we are undertaking here.
But you can't know that for certain.
No, but we can jolly well mute you, can't we, Dr. Pettigrew?
Indeed we can, sir.
No, what you're doing isn't for science, it's for your own bloody
Good. And now we shall show the public exactly what they've been waiting for. We cannot keep this mummy locked down for one moment longer.
Indeed, sir. Allow me to begin the unwrapping. I'll begin with the face wrappings.
Oh, bloody hell, there's another bloody earthquake.
Well, it's unrelated.
Oh God, they're here. They're all here.
What?
Back, you devils, back!
We seem to have lost Lord Fortescue due to technical difficulties. Yes, I will proceed with the ceremony, though. Oh, this is odd. The cadaver appears to be moving. That's nothing to worry about. I'm sure that's perfectly normal. Oh dear. God save the Queen.
Ah, hello. Hello, have we got control back? Have we got control? Yes. Goodness me. Well, I don't know how that came on. This Zoom bug is quite something. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. Okay. Yeah, one of the first audio dramas that we created was taken from a story published in Shoreline of Infinity 2. It's called Republic of David, and the story was written by Anton Rose, a writer based in Durham. When we started Infinitesimals, I gave Jonathan and Debbie a set of the first few issues of the magazine, and they went away and picked stories they would like to adapt. And Jonathan chose this story, Republic of David. This one not only challenged his story adapting skills, but also his recording skills, as you'll hear in a few minutes. Republic of David was broadcast on one of our podcasts, Soundwave, last year, but for tonight, our art director, Mark Toner, created an animation just for this, so it is just about to receive its world premiere. I give you Republic of David.
Yeah, I've been putting it off for a while.
There's nothing to worry about. Now, just a few final forms to sign.
What's this about hallucinations?
Oh, don't worry about that. The technology is perfectly safe these days. That's just for the insurers.
My wife and children went ahead while I finished some things at this end.
Well, you'll be seeing them soon.
Hello? Hello? Help. Hello? Hello? Oh, God. Don't worry about it. It happens a lot. Drink this. Who are you? I'm David. But I'm David. Can't we both be? Sorry, I'm running a little late. What the hell is happening? I'm David. It's nice to meet you. This isn't real. I'm David. Me. We don't disagree with you. Why don't you come and have a seat again? We can explain everything. Don't worry. I'm completely real. 100% David. Do you remember where you were before this? I was being transported to one of the new colonies. Good. Go on. I had a new job out there. My family went ahead while I sorted some things out. Perfect. But that doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain you. No, you're right. The machine that brought you here developed a fault. It got stuck in a loop. 6 hours after the first David arrived, it created another one. 6 hours after that, it did it again. And it never stopped. Why don't you turn the machine off? Good question. 1, we're not sure that we can. 2, even if we could, We decided against it. We run a democracy of sorts here. One David, one vote. This is ridiculous! It's a lot to take in. Where are my family? I want to see them. You can, in a way. I can breathe. Yes, we've made good progress. The atmosphere is almost Earth-like. Where to? You know where. The streets, it's just the same pubs, Mexican restaurants, outdoor shops. No call for much else. David. What did you see the game last night, David? Yeah, David United versus David City. Terrible. You enjoying your new job, David? Thanks, David. Yeah, I am. What did you have for lunch today, David? Oh, just the usual. Going for Mexican tonight? Yeah, Mexican tonight. Brilliant. Did you hear the one about the three Davids that walked into a bar? Yeah. What's that? Sorry, I'm getting a bit deaf. You see that new comes to us all, David. You heard the new David haircut? It's really good. Did you vote for David or Davids? Not just for the Davids. I changed my name to so which David are you? Just Davids, yeah. Where is everyone else? You mean the other colonists? Some of them stuck around, but most of them left. You can see why, I suppose. This is a world for Davids now. Gypsophilia. They're my wife's favorites. We know. We know. I'm sorry. Sorry for what? There, by the edge of the roof garden. Great. How? We're not sure, but we know they all lived long lives. What do you mean? That's impossible! Come on, David. There have been many Davids before you, and there will be many Davids after you. This is bullshit! I'm still in the machine. I'm going to wake up, and I'll be there, and I'll see them! Listen, David, we know it's difficult to accept. You don't want to do this. David? David! Oh, damn it. Oh. David. Hi, it's David. I'm afraid we've had another jumper.
Excellent. That was Republic of David, written by Anton Rose and adapted by Jonathan Whiteside as an audio format. And that was performed by Jonathan R.J. Bailey, who did a fantastic job on the sound effects and the audio. But as you can imagine, we had great fun doing the recording of that one. And with Jonathan playing against Jonathan. He had a great time. So as I said earlier, Shoreline of Infinity was started in 2015 as we felt that Scotland in particular needed a science fiction magazine. I love short science fiction. It's a great way to explore an idea and playing around with it by dropping a couple of characters into an unreal setting and see what happens. Short stories are also a great way for new writers to practice their skills. We are proud to have published over 120 stories so far, including many first-time writers. We've also published a number of established writers along the way too, so check out our website shorelineofinfinity.com for details. So, hello.
And now the news. And that about wraps it up for domestic matters. So let's hear a little of the news from out there in the lands beyond the Imperial Electro Hedge. I'm Felix Sootlamb.
And I'm Fonteraldra, Smilington Smythe, and welcome. And what a world it is out with the glorious Empire, Felix. First, let's look west. Civil war continues to rage in our former American colonies. We understand that Her Majesty, long may she reign, has taken to allowing herself a 4 o'clock giggle that her former subjects are having a much worse time being independent than they ever had under British law.
That's right, Ladra. It seems there's some rewording required on that embarrassing Declaration of Independence. All men are created equals unless disqualified on grounds of having your ancestors abducted from their homes and forcibly taken to work in the Americas.
I do hope they sort their differences soon, Felix. The cotton shortage is beginning to tell on our empire's great industry.
Notwithstanding our industrial requirements, Her Majesty has made it plain it is not the business of the British Empire to clean up messes made by the British Empire, especially slavery, which you will notice we outlawed as soon as it became obvious it was no longer economically viable.
Indeed, and here is a warning to all industrial nations. Cities full of starving children with rickets are far cheaper than slaves and may even come to view their exploitation as patriotic duty.
Good advice for all there.
I understand that Tsar is up to his usual high jinks.
Well, yes, this is true, Ladra. Vladimir V has been absent from the scene for some time. It is suspected due to the reptilian flux.
Ah, yes, an emergency which has not spared our beloved empire.
Fortunately, Her Majesty's mercy squads are roaming the streets even now, putting the poor creatures out of their misery.
It seems our Russian cousins have not yet stumbled on the cure.
The multi-tubed flux reliever is a closely guarded business secret of Colonel Gatling. I imagine his agents are St. Petersburg bound as we speak.
Quite. While the reptilian flux has caused a great unease in the empire, Britain's plans to completely abandon our European allies continue apace. Even generous offers of medical assistance to combat the flux have been refused, and under Her Majesty's orders, as rudely as conceivably possible. The final exit from the European yoke has not been altered due to the flux, and the standard of living is expected to drop even further in January next year.
We finish up this roundup with exciting news from the Anglo-Egyptian condominium, whose inhabitants bear all the burdens of empire without the safety and security of the electro hedge. Recent earthquakes have all but buried the work of Lord Fortescue, Egyptologist by royal appointment and Honourable Fellow of the Royal Egyptological Society. Lord Fortescue was believed killed in the disaster, but we have since received word that he is alive and well and will join us via Zomlink any moment now.
Oh, I say.
Lord Fortescue, are you receiving me?
You are received, Mr. Footland.
An honor and a privilege, my lord.
The honor is mine to speak to your many viewers and tell them all I have seen.
But I am sure our viewers will be most fascinated, especially since you have been given up for dead.
Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated, Lady Smathington smiled. Indeed, it could be said I am now very much more than alive.
I'm not sure we understand, my lord.
Dr. Benson was right.
Right about what, sir?
Egypt is the origin.
The origin, not the flux.
The flux is but a symptom and will pass in time. Indeed, the flux merely prepares mankind for the next step in our glorious history.
Could you be a little more precise?
I can. That fool Darwin was wrong, so wrong. Our near closest ancestors are no apes, they're lizards. And right now, even now, our ancient masters track their wayward kin across the stars through the portal I opened.
Ah, well, that sounds just fascinating, my lord.
Did he say portal? Masters? We have one mistress in the Empire, no master.
Not so, dear lady. Their mummified remains, waiting to be vessels for their essence, and when their strength is great enough, they shall establish one rule over the squabbling nations of this earth.
World peace, that old chestnut.
Its war is very good for business, you know. Do you want to ruin our economy?
Only united can we face the horror that is almost upon us.
A different horror.
Look to the skies, Mr. Sootlamp. See the burning vapor of the first of our true enemy.
I don't see anything.
Well, wait a bit. They'll be here in a minute.
Oh, there's one, and another, and another.
Oh, there's hundreds of them.
Where have they come from?
Mars!
Oh, but the chances of anything coming from Mars are, what, 1,000,000 to 1?
You must prepare. Shh, so becomes our one true deliverer.
And we really must cut you off there, Lord Fortescue. I'm certainly glad to see him alive, but we really cannot live our lives around the imminent return of some Bronze Age deity.
Oh, good Lord, no.
Well, that's all from Zom Imperial World Service. We hope to join you tomorrow when we might have some answers surrounding these mysterious cigar-shaped aircraft. Thank goodness we've got some pretty powerful warships, eh?
Not to mention the Empire's formidable fleet of dirigibles. Stay safe behind the electro hedge, people. And remember, this station supports this government message.
Ah, we're back again. This is very bizarre. Okay, well, I hope they stay safe in our alternative universe there. The next drama we're going to put on just now is called Approaching 43,000 Candles. This was submitted to the magazine before we launched, and I thoroughly enjoyed its totally insane scenario. It's written by a writer from the south coast of England who's, as you'll appreciate, is a great fan of lighthouses, Guy T. Markland. Now, this drama hasn't been recorded for podcast yet, but it was performed on stage at the brilliant and superb Chimera Science Fiction, Fantasy and Horror Festival in Edinburgh last year. Alas, COVID put a stop to that this year, except online. Now, this is a recording of that performance. The story was adapted by Debbie Cannon, and the performance is by the Infinitesimals of Debbie herself, Jonathan Whiteside, Danielle Farrow, and Izzy Hanrahan. Now, this performance introduced by a regular MC, Russell Jones. So I give you Approaching 43,000 Candles.
Imagine a world in which lighthouses come to life. And once a year, the moon stops time so they can meet up to party at their annual conference.
Finally! Party time for us lighthouses! Off to Birmingham! Look out, little human. Nearly stepped on you. Oh, keep forgetting they're all frozen until time starts again. Best put my light on the fool so I can see. Light up those candles. Oh, caravan. Ugh! That's funny. I thought I saw the bishop. Oh well, must have been mistaken. Grumpy sod anyway. Right then. Birmingham ahoy! Oh. Ring roads. Quite a lot of them apparently. Oh well, nearly there.
You made it! Look, Stroma, it's Voth! All the way from Round Isle to the Scilly Isles. And you know what they say.
All right, Voth. Oh.
Oh dear.
Oh, never mind, Stroma. Her lamps are rusting and she can't hold her drink. How's life with you? It's good to see you.
Well, I don't like to miss a conference. Chance to live it up once a year.
I know, but have you seen the programme?
Oh, I slipped one in my window on the way in. Dull as puffin poo.
I know. Increased mechanisation, innovations in GPS, and the diminishing use of lighthouses. Depressing guff. It's enough to drive a lighthouse to drink.
It looks like they already have. But it is the way to go, right enough, if you've got the money. Those new radio lighthouses have got one over on us. How's things with you then?
Aye, good. I tell you what though, those army folk lived in my belly where they tried to find a downed tornado. I thought I could drink, but they fair put it away. Oh, hey, I'll have another.
Still getting the Stevenson visitors?
Aye, those literary types turn up every once in a while. Keeps things ticking over. Hey, hang on. There's the bishop there. Wanker!
I'm glad it isn't just me who thinks that.
Sashaying about with La Jumée on his arm, flashing kit. I don't know how you put up with them all year round. I'd be smashing his balls.
No, he keeps his distance.
Hi. Hi, do you want to come clubbing? Look, this'll tempt you. Look what I can do.
Oh, yeah, you can make your lamp work like a strobe light. Very good.
I know, right. Come on, come away and play with us.
Actually, I think I might take a bit of a stroll. Stretch my legs, you know? Just check out the locality.
Oh, please yourself.
Well, it might only be the canal, but it's nice to be back by water. That sounds like the bishop. And is that Wolf and Longships with him?
So, we do it in the July fog.
The tankers will be passing closest on the 7th, 12th and 19th.
A coordinated switch off. All three of us simultaneously. It's genius, Bishop, it's genius.
But of course, the tide will take the oil straight over to the rocks near Tater-Doo. So we all know at whom the finger of blame will be pointing.
At who?
At Tater-Doo, good grief.
Morning, Scarivore, Stroma.
Hey.
Is it morning already?
Drinking at lunch?
Hey, well, it's only jokers like you, session ale. Anyway, we're on holiday. It's not like a lighthouse, it's a lot of time off.
Listen, Scarivore, I was wondering if you knew anything about Tater-Doo.
The Cornish lighthouse? Well, after she and Wolf broke it off.
She was with Wolf.
Aye, back in the 80s.
But she's a lot younger than he is.
He was cut up about it, I think. She left him for Mevagissy.
What's the problem? Oh, you like her?
Oh, no. It's just last night I overheard this conversation out by the canal. It was the Bishop with Wolf and Longships. They were planning a coordinated shut-off in July when it's foggy. They want to bring a tanker into the rocks while their lights are off. They were planning it so Tater-Doo would get the blame, because the tide will carry the spill over by her.
Oh, that's dark. They definitely didn't see you.
Oh, no, but my mirrors were spinning pretty fast, I can tell you.
Can you not change the service dates so they don't coincide with the tankers?
Well, I could try, Stroma, but...
I don't trust him, that Bishop. You remember that French lighthouse was found 10 years ago, after the conference in Paris?
Oh, I do, yes. All too well, unfortunately. It was me who found the string of stones and the shattered lens, remember? I still have nightmares.
Aye, and the bulb that apparently just burnt its light out. I always thought they decided way too quickly that was suicide.
Yes, well, there were plenty of fingers pointing at me.
Aye, just because you were first at the scene. Your reputation was tarnished for a while there. Just as if someone was trying to divert any blame. And you know where all those rumors started? That Bishop.
The other lighthouses still look at me funny. Feels horrible, I can tell you. That was a bad deal all round. And the moon weren't happy with the verdict, neither.
Tell me about it, man. For 2 years she cut up the length of the conference. My precious baby time. Hi, do you really think they're planning more sabotage?
I don't know. It was windy. Perhaps I just misheard.
Whatever they were up to, it sounds like no good.
Just thinking about an oil spill makes my staircases shudder. All that thick black slick swallowing all the seabirds, flooding all the tourist beaches with gunk. Wolf really do that just to get revenge on Tater-Doo for dumping him? And why would the Bishop be so keen to help him?
Listen, put it behind you for now.
Oh, I'd like nothing better.
Come and have a drink, eh? Back to work tomorrow.
Always nice to be back home again. Well, another beautiful day. No fog. Got through 7th and 12th July okay. Perhaps I just imagined that old chat about sabotage. Just as well, I'll be out of action till the end of the month with this engineering work. Oh, hang on. Human alert.
What? Yes, it's funding cuts, isn't it? If they don't do that maintenance, the Bishop's going to fall into the sea. But they're delaying again. Yes, it's going to cost a packet, all right. You know what
They're gonna fail on purpose. The coastline will be damaged. Tater-Doo will soak up most of the blame right enough. It'll be mainly on our patch. And then there'll be no choice but to do the maintenance on the Bishop and Wolf and Longships. They might even pull in some of the usual Cornish tourist crowd. If the Cornwall coast is all spoiled, but we're all clear in the sillies. That Bishop just wants people making a fuss of him. But what can I do?
It's the 18th tomorrow, the last day the bishop talked about that night. I'll email Skerryvore, see if he has any ideas. Let's just hope we don't get fog. Oh, bugger. I can't even see beyond my platform in this big super. No sign of the bishop, and he's only a few hundred miles away. I better test my GPS. Oh no! It's down! Oh, my spiral staircases! This is actually happening!
Where
are the rocks?
Oh, don't be that! Let's get it now!
Oh no!
Look after the rocks! Look at the moon!
The moon! She's sending down her own light to guide them on their way! Ha! Take that, bishop!
Here she is, the hero of the hour.
Well, it was you decided to inform the moon all about the bishop's plot.
Aye, me and Stroma here and the rest of the Stevenson collective.
Aye, but it was you who uncovered it and worked out what was going on.
And who knew the moon would take matters into her own hands and rescue that tanker, eh?
Too right. It takes a lot for her to get herself in enough of a strop to interfere in human nonsense. Did you hear what happened to them? The bishop and Wolf and the long thing.
Oh, yes. Banned from the conference for the next 20 years.
Aye, that's dark, all right.
They're getting their upgrades, though. It's made the humans take us more seriously, if nothing else. Oh, and did I tell you?
What?
There's to be a television show, all set on Round Island, and introduced by Neil Oliver.
Oh, really, no.
Oh, it's true.
Well, hero of the hour and TV star now. Oh, hang on.
What?
Stay cool, stay cool. Tater Blue.
What? Oh,
Hi, Bob. I haven't had a chance to thank you.
well, it's my pleasure.
I was just getting a drink. Do you want to come and join me?
Me? I'd love to.
Well, off you go. Oh, that's what I like to see. A good lighthouse having a good things happen to her. Yes, mark my words, Stroma. She'll be burning at 43,000 candles from now on. Oh, Stroma, way to spoil a beautiful moment.
Okay, I hope you all enjoyed that. That was approaching 43,000 candles. Adapted by Debbie Cannon and from a story written by Guy T. Martland. And that featured Debbie herself, Jonathan Whiteside, Danielle Farrow and Izzy Hanrahan. You might also have spotted in the shadows Mark Toner switching the backgrounds. Okay, so this is brought to you from Shoreline of Infinity, a science fiction magazine from Scotland. I hope you're enjoying what you're watching. It's been great fun doing this. So if you want to find out more about Shoreline, visit our website, shorelineofinfinity.com, and you can find out what else we do. But in the meantime, no, not again. Uh-oh.
March 23rd, Edinburgh, day 1 of lockdown. I am Dr. Margaret Benson, Egyptologist, and these are my flux diaries, recorded via the medium of Zoom. Driven by the reckless behaviour of fellow Egyptologists Lord Fortescue and Dr. Pettigrew, our nation has been forced to seek protection in a self-imposed lockdown. The streets are now a place of peril, in which one may at any moment be confronted by a poor victim of the reptilian flux now afflicting the whole globe. Merely stepping outside puts one in jeopardy of immediate infection or attack. or indeed of being caught in the crossfire of Her Majesty's very enthusiastic mercy squads. It has been clear to many of us for many days that this affliction may be a genuine threat to our lives and civilization. When the Prime Minister returned from his latest jaunt to somewhere or other, he agreed. We think. Sometimes it's hard to tell. And so we find ourselves in an indefinite lockdown, entombed like mummies in our own homes. Fortunately, my situation is not so terrible as that of many others. I have a 6-month supply of Orkney cheddar and pickled onions, and a crate of vintage port in the cellar. My one servant, Violet, remains with me, having no family to return to. At least, I believe she does not. When I asked, she simply responded with a customary grunt, and an exotic swear word. Most importantly, I have set myself the urgent task of uncovering the truth behind this dreadful plague. As my dear father reminded me in our last hasty meeting before we all entered confinement, Shakespeare wrote King Lear in a time of plague. I hope these diaries will enable me to act as a latter-day and frankly less randy Samuel Pepys. I feel strengthened by these examples and optimistic that science will prevail and Britain will be great again. Oh, March 30th, Edinburgh. 1 week into lockdown. I have been attempting to stay fit and counter the effects of the Orkney cheddar with an invigorating exercise regime. Bowling with W.G. Grace via Zoom has been an unexpected hit. I must report an increasing number of cases based on my observations with a telescope from the attic. This is far worse than our frivolous news channels are communicating. It appears that the flux takes hold with alarming speed. Only 2 days ago, I was watching my neighbour, Mr. McTavish, while he practised archery in his garden. His 14 children have all been returned home from boarding school, and he had affixed tambourines to the head of each and was encouraging them to weave about unpredictably as moving targets. His approach to homeschooling is indeed idiosyncratic. At 10 a.m, I waved to them as they merrily trooped out with their headwear all a jingle. By lunchtime, the entire family had sprouted fangs and scales and were writhing about his oriental water garden. It's most strange and fascinating. Violet has ventured out to shop, armed with the ceremonial disemboweling stick I brought back from my dig at the Temple of Sekhmet, Mistress of Dread. On return, I instructed her to scrub from head to toes with carbolic soap and steel wool. She returned with only 3 cabbages and reports there is no flour. How can this be? What is everyone doing with all the flour? What are you all doing with the flour? Are you still out there? So far, I have resisted the vintage port. I hope to save it for the day when we are all released back into a brave new world of science, common sense, and neighbours who are neither green nor attempting to lay eggs in the radish garden. Oh. King Lear! King Lear can get to... Edinburgh, April 13th, week 4. I find it hard to sleep. Even my usual trick of reciting the names and ages of all the royal grandchildren on a loop does not work. I fear this is partly because of worries about the flux. I have been checking hourly in my looking glass. I suspect a green tinge to my skin. It is also partly because I'm so angry. It dismays me to report it, but our leaders are nincompoops. If I could take a carpet beater to the PM's bottom right now, I would do so, quarantine or no quarantine. I fear I am very much on my own, apart from Violet. Although talking to her is a bit like conversing with an infuriated ferret. Bracing, but devoid of comfort. This week, she even refused to join me and stand at an open window to huzzah for those fighting the flux for us. It is a shame. I took great pleasure in standing beside her saluting while she clanged the dumpling pan with a ladle. Long may you reign. Edinburgh, April 27th. I long to sit in Patisserie Albert and eat a warm tea cake spread liberally with jam. I wonder if I shall ever sit in Patisserie Albert again. We have endured 6 weeks of lockdown. My weekly Zoom calls with father have become something to cling on to. Strange news from him yesterday, however. He informed me that some locals have been kidnapping postmen, apparently in the belief that they have caused the flux simply by the increased acceleration with which they are running up and down our streets and country lanes to deliver the mail. Ridiculous conspiracy theory. Why anyone would assume such a thing when the flux has clearly been provoked by the inappropriate unwrapping of ancient Egyptian lizard bodies stored by aliens in the temple of Sobek, crocodile god of splashes? I don't know. Some people refuse to accept a perfectly logical explanation when they see it. I didn't expect ever to say so, but I would welcome even the conversation of Dr. Pettigrew and Lord Fortescue right now. The ludicrous toff. Even idiots may be better than silence. Idiots, silence, idiots, silence. Edinburgh, May 5th, week 6. Some of our neighbours have begun to flaunt the lockdown. One yesterday packed up a charabang and announced to all that he was taking a turn to County Durham. I threw open the window for a free and frank exchange of views with him, including some of the words that I have learned from Violet. Meanwhile, Violet continues with her weekly quests for food, but supplies are running low. Yesterday, I complained to her that I cannot continue my work on the last shreds of cheddar and boiled cabbage alone. Later, I ventured to the kitchen for a half cup of cocoa before bed and discovered her perched on a stool at the kitchen table, gnawing the heel of my old desert boot, without even the merest scrape of dripping on it. Later, I slipped down and left the last of the cheese in a sandwich wrapped in brown paper under her pillow. Edinburgh, May 19th, week 8. At last, I have proper news to report. Today, Violet donned her protective full-body oilskins and set out for her customary attempt on the shops. I was busy upstairs in my study when I heard a most dreadful gurgling noise from the hallway. On rushing downstairs, I discovered 5 of the Lizard McTavish children from next door had slithered through the cat flap. I attempted to hold them at bay with a trowel and by shouting, shoo, shoo, very loudly, but they were advancing on me most voraciously. At that moment, Violet burst back through the door, flourishing the disemboweling stick and roaring like the goddess Moot herself. Together we set about the young McTavishes, battering them with a volley of the cabbages brought back by Violet and beating them back out of the house. The rising cry of "Hup, hup, hup" from outside assured us that they had been spotted by Her Majesty's Mercy Squad. Oh, the joy with which we regarded each other after our triumph. I would have embraced Violet had it not been for the necessity for social distancing and the smell of boiled cabbage and shoe leather. Who rule the world? Girls! Edinburgh, May 26, week 9, I believe. My work is not going well. Infections continue to rise, and I don't know where all this will end. Pettigrew? My lord, I thought you were dead.
Not dead, Dr. Benson, revived, alive, filled with the powers of our masters.
I have to say, Margaret, it does feel jolly good.
No, I think I must be hallucinating. Too many pickled onions and cream.
Oh, no, Margaret, we're really here.
Why have you come to haunt me like some leprous spirits of Christmas past and present?
Because we need you to join us.
Join us. It's inevitable, Dr. Benson. Our masters have the country in a reptilian headlock.
Look around you, Margaret. You see people flagrantly breaking lockdown, stockpiling food, hobbling postmen, denying science. Surely they're a greater threat to civilization than a lizard invasion. With our masters, the future is green.
Green?
Green. Join us.
Join us. Join us. Join us. Join us. Join us. Join
Well, okay. Are we back? We're back. Yes. Well, bloody hell, that was quite something. Yeah. Okay, well, I can say cheerio. I only hope that Zoom fixes this leak from another universe, and that reptilian flux doesn't seep into ours. So far, so good. Anyway, our time is up, and now it's my delightful task to thank everyone involved. The Infinitesimals appearing tonight were creative director Jonathan Whiteside with Debbie Cannon and Ben Blow. Also on video were Danielle Farrow and Izzy Hanrahan. Artwork and animation was by Mark Toner, who also pressed buttons behind the scenes tonight. I'm Noel Chidwick, and I'm told I was the producer. Thanks again. Visit Shoreline Infinity for more information on what we do, and watch out for future events. Finally, this was a donation event tonight, and if you enjoyed it, do drop into our website and leave us a tip or two in our coffee jar. Shoreline is fueled by the finest coffee, which is very expensive. Thank you. Good night. And I feel like climbing a wall. Good night. Good night.
See. What goes on behind the scenes?
We should just have had Ben do that for an hour.
Hello, hello.
More than alive.
Okay.
Something more than alive.
Yes, you have the role of Aladdin of the genie.
All
Now, if you
right.
care to get back in the bottle where you belong, that would be good.
Never.
There are children watching still. This is the after event party, so if anyone's still here, I hope you enjoyed it. Please speak up and tell us what you thought. We've never done that before in our lives, so
No, that was an
that's the
adventure.
shoreline of approach. What should we do we haven't done before? I know, said Jonathan and Debbie. Let's do this.
I'm sorry. I think it came from you.
I blame the lizard man.
Nobody else to blame.
Okay. Well,
He's back.
oh,
He's going back on.
that was good. Well done, everybody. Well done, everybody. That was
That was fun.
it was fun. Well, we enjoyed it, and I hope you did too, everybody. Thank you all for coming. It made our night. Oh dear. And I only counted 3 mistakes. 2 of them are mine. There we go.
What was the third one?
Oh, I'm not saying that's for Mark to keep. Oh,
I was one of mine, yeah. Actually, I made 2, but they had 2 half mistakes, I think.
no, you were all brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, the lot of you. And, that was a treat. Oh.
Ben, you look like you've been down a mine.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
Tommy
perilously
Knocker.
close to blackface. It is in fact green eyeshadow.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Which is all I had at short notice.
Not easy being
Mine,
green.
obviously.
This one? Oh, it's not.
Not a green eyeshadow guy. Blue.
Had a green pen.
Oh, it suits you. Suits you, Ben. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. I'd avoid that like the plague. Yeah.
Blue. Just look really unhealthy.
Yes, that's the lockdown for you. Just don't get enough vitamin D, and that's what happens. Yeah.
Sense a green tinge.
Mind you, that cabbage was looking very frightened, Debbie. That was a very frightened cabbage you had there.
That was great. That was a great bit.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself again, so
Oh, right.
I hope it was
No,
all
you can
in frame.
oh.
Yes. Oh, I better stop the YouTube recording, hadn't I? Okay, and we stopped the recording.